keep missing it.
I have a question about that, Terry.
Yeah, Lindy, go for it.
So that point where you can see the mind is, you can see that all of your attention is on the story and it's running. How do we come back to now? I'm
Easy.
trying. Tell me. Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
This that is aware of the story is the now. But you're taking this that is aware of the story to be Lindy. That's
what. But here's yeah, that I get that. But I think what this wants to do is have a trying to think of have a technique to the only thing that I can say is what I've noticed doing is just sensing space. You mentioned sense space. Mm-hmm. So as a practice to be more here instead of following that story, that's what I'm asking. Like a practice is sensing the space.
Okay, got it. But I say more than just noticing space. That's also a pointer. Generally what I'll say is there's a pen, and the pen to exist is contingent upon space. Nothing, no thing, whatever the thing is, stars, the moon, the sun, our planet, the pen, whatever, yeah, no thing can exist without space. If you remove the space, there's no space for a thing to occupy, to be, yeah. And then what I say, because as a seeming human being, all we notice is things. That's all we notice. We literally don't, like when we look at a cup, or even when we look at a pen, we're not aware of the space, just the thing, only the thing. Yeah. Now, I say that because a thing can't exist without space, but space can exist without a thing in it. Yeah? So what's more fundamental, the thing or the space? It's not rocket science. The space is more fundamental. Yeah? And then what I go on to say is, okay, so what is space dependent upon? To be space. Yeah. And I say consciousness. Because if you remove consciousness, not only does the space disappear, but the things do too. Just gone. Unconscious. Yeah? When consciousness steps back in, if you like, understand this is just, yeah, I'm trying to point, yeah. When consciousness steps back in as such, space and things reappear. Yeah. Then what I say is, okay, what's consciousness dependent upon? Consciousness. We've identified things are dependent on space. Yeah. Okay. And without consciousness, there is no space or things. What is it that consciousness is dependent upon? I could pose that question, or yeah, I could just say that consciousness, now understand this is a pointer. Don't take it too literally. I'm pointing. You know? So, okay, what is consciousness dependent upon? No, so, okay. Are you aware that you're conscious? And everybody says yes. Everyone says yes. I'm aware that I'm conscious. Yeah. So consciousness itself is dependent upon awareness. awareness of being conscious. Now, the reason that I do this is because when we're living as a seeming person as such, yeah, and we come back to consciousness, yeah, how many things are you conscious of during the course of the day, Lindy? How many things?
I mean, a lot.
You couldn't
It's
even, you
incoming all
couldn't,
the time.
yeah, you couldn't count it, yeah?
No.
You're conscious of thoughts, you're conscious of feelings in the body, you're conscious of the body, yeah? Then you're conscious of everything else outside, yeah? Laptop in front of you, conscious of, like a myriad of different things. So when I say, are you aware of being conscious? Understand it's a pointer, yeah? And everybody says yes, yeah? So what I'm trying to do is to get you to be, instead of conscious of or aware of a myriad of different things throughout the course of the day, I'm trying to get you to be aware of consciousness only. One thing. Understand it's a pointer. Yeah. Aware of consciousness only. Where we get stuck, yeah, we're not aware of consciousness. Where we get stuck is we're conscious of a myriad of different things. Lots and lots and lots and lots of different things. Yeah. So I'm trying to get you to come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. Yeah. And just be aware of the fact that you are conscious. And just be with that instead of everything else that we're with throughout the course of the day. Yeah. Now, you might say, oh, okay, what's a good technique for doing that? Yeah. Well, the primary thing is that we must first come to the understanding it can't be Lindy that's conscious.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous unless you're telling me that a story in the mind, yeah, it is an entity and it's alive and it's conscious. It's very, very easy to work that out, to see that for yourself. You don't need to sit and ponder that yourself for a moment. Yeah. Yet there's consciousness here. Everybody sitting here is conscious. And I'm just trying to shift you from being conscious of everything, right, to aware of consciousness only. Now, it sounds binary. I will admit that. That's why I'm saying speech is limited, words are limited, yeah, because it sounds like two, being aware of being conscious. That's definitely two, yeah, but it's a guide. It's just a guide, yeah, to get us back to just here, consciousness, not conscious of, but consciousness itself. Now, I would say to you, Lindy, yeah, are you conscious right now? See how quickly you answered that?
Yeah.
Good. What can you tell me about consciousness? Because you are that. So
Nothing.
yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
That's why it's, you know, philosophers and so on use this, you know, they state it, you know, the hard problem of consciousness. Nobody knows what it is because it's not a thing. You understand? Can't measure it. You know, does consciousness have mass? Does it have a color? Does it have a boundary? What is, nobody knows what it is. The hard question of consciousness, nobody knows what it is. Yeah. Yet every one of us will say, yes, I'm conscious. Yeah. But where we live is in a state of being conscious of a myriad of things, conscious of, and we ignore the consciousness. Why? Because we believe that this that is conscious is Lindy. We don't need to look there. I know myself. Well, you know, this that is conscious is Terence. I don't need to look there. It's me that's conscious, so I don't need to look there. It's a silly question, actually. We would say. Yeah. So then we work out, okay, well, what's Terry or Terence? Hang on. Terence is a story. Can a story be conscious? Now, I only experience, if you look, one single point of consciousness, not two, one. Yeah? We're conscious of the mind, but the mind is not conscious of this that's conscious of the mind. So there's one point of consciousness, you know. And the irony there is like to experience anything, we have to be conscious. True?
Yeah.
To
We have to
experience,
be here. And we
yeah,
have to be here.
yeah. And the irony of that is, when are you not here?
We're always here. So it's putting the mind down. I heard you say that.
Yeah,
I
but
heard you say,
it is, but we have difficulty putting the mind down if it's Lindy trying to put down the mind.
yeah, that when, yeah, yes. Yeah, I can sense that.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
in
I
fact,
know.
it's impossible because
Yeah, because you
Lindy
can't use the
is
mind to find this. Yes.
correct.
Mhm.
Lindy is the mind,
Mhm.
and the mind's trying to put itself down.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
It's like
yeah,
trying to stop thoughts with thoughts.
right.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So what we keep missing is just this. You've heard other teachers say that. Yeah. Who or what are we? Just this. You'll hear people say, "Yeah, what the fuck is just this?" What do you mean, just this? Just this. Yeah. But just this from the story seems boring, empty, nothing from the story. Yeah? And that's because the story can't experience this. And that's why when people take themselves to be the story, they get stuck on this path for decades, on this path. Get stuck on it for decades. Yeah. So you won't very often hear me talking about, because it's ridiculous, I just heard it, right? The non-dual state. There's zero, 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 zero you can say about it. You know, I mean, I might occasionally use some fluffy terms, but 95% of the dialogue that comes out of here is about unraveling the me,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a person that might have, have all sorts of problems and traumas, and like take a real extreme case, yeah, traumas, and all of a sudden they experience amnesia, and it's all gone. It is literally all gone. They might have been a person who was stressed out their whole life. Extreme case, like stressed their whole life. Yeah? They forget who they are. The stress, the tension, the worry that is gone. Now what's left? Just this. Yeah. We keep taking this, just this, that we keep creating a locate, or not we keep, but a location for a me keeps being created. And the location has to be this here. Yeah. It's me, Terence, sitting here that can see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and it's Terence that's conscious. And it's Terence that is aware. And everything that I just said then is not true. 100% not true. Because in the absence of Terence, there's still consciousness. Amnesia, right? In the absence of Terence, there's still consciousness. So consciousness is primary before the conscious of the story of Terry. Yeah, primary consciousness. And just like we don't notice the space, We don't notice consciousness because we assume that this that is conscious is Lindy or Terence or whoever. We assume that. Yeah? And if we assume that, we operate from there, we're never going to find the truth because we're starting from a false premise, a wrong premise, because it's not Terence sitting here. How could it be? Holy shit. And Terence has free will, and I'm the mover and shaker and the controller of my own destiny, and so on and so forth. How's that working out for you? Not very good. Well, you've got free will. The idea of free will is you should be able to do anything with free will. And I often joke and say, man, Jesus, if I had free will, the very, very, very first thing I would do is change the inner dialogue here. That would be the first thing I would do. The very first thing. And you discover you can't. It's like it seems independent. Mine is just a thing that's just kind of going off, and yeah, we can't change it. You just thoughts just spontaneously arise all the time. The problem is we then step in and say, well, that's my thoughts and I'm thinking those thoughts. Well, if you're thinking those thoughts and thoughts are the problem, just stop. If we're thinking those thoughts, just stop. And we discover we can't. We can't. Now, if we have zero control over that, that's just an aberration, if you want to call it that, that's just occurring. Yeah. Let it go. It's not about you. It's 100% not about you. And when I say you, I'm talking about this point, terrible word there, point of consciousness. This, you're conscious right now. But our whole life, yeah. Mind occupies this point of consciousness and just calls it me. But if you use the amnesia pointer, now who is it that's experiencing the consciousness? There is no me all of a sudden. Yet we're sitting here conscious. So this idea that it's me that's conscious is wrong. Simple.
I'm wondering if dropping the terms me and I is helpful, because
It is.
it seems like sometimes, I think I wrote this in a comment somewhere, that I feel like I could be a drone or above, or just sort of that, just, I don't know what I'm saying, but
I do know what you're saying. You know, and you'll find it's a really good point that you've brought up. You'll find that that will just naturally start to happen.
it's
Yeah.
starting to. I'll say, oh, the mind started this whole thing. Huh. I almost went into that story, and then I'm just watching how it could have gone on, but it's not going to go on now.
Yeah. And the truth is there's no I that goes into the story. There's no me
Yeah.
that goes into the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we go, oh, you know, it's funny, you know. Today, I'm on a mission. And today, I'm going to practice being in the now as much as I possibly can.
That's the mind.
I'm going to be mindful. In the now as much as you know, my common standard answer to that statement is try not being in the now. Don't try and be in the now. That's ridiculous. Even whilst you're trying to be in the now, you're in the now. So try not being it, reverse it. Try not being in the now. It's not possible. Not possible. Even if there's thoughts going, Still, it's happening now. Now. Oh, yes, but I'm not in the now because I'm in the mind. Well, for the mind to be happening, you've first got to be here now, conscious first, because in the absence of conscious, there's no mind. We just keep taking this here now to be the personal character. Yeah, so I spend most of my time unraveling this idea of a personal self. Unravel it. Once you come to see, and it's ultimately it's in an absolute sense, right? But you can gradually come to see this, yeah, and then eventually it's ultimate, boom. Yeah. Once you come to see there's no me anywhere, it's just a story. Once that is seen, that you've been looking for is self-revealing. Doesn't need to be found. It's always been here. It's just a case of mistaken identity. We've been calling this consciousness, this aliveness, this beingness, Lindy or Terence, Mick. That's what we've been doing our whole life. Yeah. So I'm trying to get you to explore whether or not this point of this here-ness, this now-ness, is it possible for it to be Lindy?